the Super Nintendo Entertainment fucking System. After over a quarter of a century of its release, it is still considered by many to be among one of the greatest consoles ever made, and for me, it is definitely in the top 3. When looking at what makes a console great, you bring up the hardware, controller, and most important thing, the games. With SNES library, there are about 40 games which show up on every single top 10 list. And with me being the basic bitch that I am, this is no different. Before starting, a few things I want to point out. A. I am giving only one slot per franchise. B. This is a list of Super Nintendo games, so don't expect seeing any Super Famicom exclusives. And C. This is a list of my personal favorite games on the system, not the best games objectively. That last one I especially had to get out of the way, cause saying that something is better than something else on the internet is like mixing gunpowder with soda, or Zack Snyder with DC Comics, or fat women with leggings, or Scots, and other Scots.
Damn Scots! They ruined Scotland!
Top 10 favorite Super Nintendo games, let's fucking go! Contra III, The Alien Wars. Contra was one of the main staples of the original Nintendo, and its jump from 8-bit to 16-bit is just what you would expect. More action, more enemies, more guns, more frustration. A lot of that last one actually. Not counting the overhead segments, the game flows like a river with its constant balls to the wall gunplay and the occasional platforming. I really should try out the other Contras one of these days. Except the PlayStation ones. Those look like crap. God damn, it's hard to come up with shit to say about a game you've already rambled on about for 10 minutes. Well, more like 2 minutes of actually talking about it and 8 minutes of filler. Oh, and those of you who had seen my review of this game and were wondering, no, I didn't play this game on hard mode for this video. I am never going through that shit again! My therapist still will return my calls because of what did to me! But, yeah, cool game. Next one. Final Fantasy VI. Confession time. Before making this list, I had never finished a single Final Fantasy game. I had tried the 8-bit ones, but never made it more than a couple of hours in before dropping them. So I was pleasantly surprised by this and Final Fantasy IV. Few things immediately made me fond of the game. The number of possible party members, the freedom to teach all of them any magic as long as you had the right espers for the job, the fact that the combat isn't as boring like most RPGs, and of course, the story and characters. Holy fuckballs, those last two are what really drove me to put this on here. So many memorable moments. Terra losing her will to fight, Cian coming to terms with the death of his family, Sabine and Edward's past, and maybe the biggest one of all, Celeste trying to commit suicide.
Hey, who left this bowl of onions here?
What can I even say about this heart-wrencher? Nothing, so instead I will ruin it with this horrible edit. You're fucking welcome. If there are a couple things that I didn't like about FF6, it is the wild goose chase of finding all your party members in the world of ruin. The cult of Kefka's tower is just a pain. Oh, and these 3 bosses right here.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck your ass!
Super Castlevania IV. After the Castlevania trilogy's 2 classics and 1 misfire, it's garbage! Don't lie to yourselves! They went back to basics in a lot of ways with the 4th one. Some might say that they hurt the experience with making the adventure linear again and not having any other playable characters, which, in a way, they might have, but spank my ass and call me Charlie Brown, was it good playing this despite of that. Gone is that horrible jumping control where you can't maneuver yourself before landing again, gone is being able to only whip in one direction, and gone is the ridiculous difficulty of 1 and 3. Instead, the whole thing is a nice and fair challenge. Except this part. This part can go suck my grandma's dick. Also, the soundtrack may be one of the console's best. Was it the new songs or throwbacks from the older ones? Your splooge is guaranteed. I still can't believe that idiot actually spanked the monkey on stream. What a world we live in, huh? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. With beat-em-ups being super popular in the late 80s and early 90s, this might be the crowning jewel of that genre. First off, who doesn't love the Ninja Turtles, other than people with chelonophobia? And it's apparently the fear of turtles. I mean, can you blame them? Those ungodly abominations are fucking terrifying. If there is one word to describe playing this, it is therapeutic. It's just so goddamn fun beating up foot soldiers, slamming them into each other, throwing to the screen, and doing it all with a friend.
If I had one!
With most stages taking place in different time zones, the aesthetics are always changing, from prehistoric to 22nd century to... yeah, I'm sure 2020 is gonna look totally like this. Just like I'm sure that something like Metal Gear Survive is gonna be named Game of the fucking Year. Why, Konami? Why did you have to sink so low? Literally 30% of this list are games you guys made. But still, order some pizza, pick up your best pair of katanas, and kick some shell. UN Squadron. My all-time favorite shmup, and probably the least obvious choice on this list. Based off an anime and manga called Area 88, which I of course have no idea what they are like. I'm not some kind of filthy weeb. I certainly didn't binge watch Mish Kobayashi's Dragon Maid in just 2 days before writing this. I'm not a weeb. You're all weebs. The variety of choices the game gives you is very refreshing. From the playable characters, the planes you use, and what weapons each plane can utilize. The controls are near perfection for this kind of game. Every hit you take could have been prevented with better reactions or planning, not cheap shots that came out of nowhere. Not much else to say except grab this unicorn by the horn, jack it, and see what comes out. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The one that most fans still consider to be the best of the series, including me. Even though I've played almost all the Zelda games, I'm still not a big fan of the franchise. Guess I'll always be a casual Zelda fan. This really implemented a lot of traditions to the series, like the dual world concept, and items like the Master Sword, Hookshot, and one of my personal favorites, Pegasus Boots. This is the perfect combination of exploration, puzzle solving, and swordplay. Each component is exploited to a T for one of the greatest adventures on the console. Each time I played a Zelda game, I went with the boring option of naming the hero Link, but for this, I wanted to really express myself. Life is way more fun when you have the mentality of a 5-year-old.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Super Metroid. Again, probably the best of the series. I really had forgotten how fucking good this game was. Just a simple exploration of Sebes is so enjoyable, and the atmosphere, whew. From the beginning when you go visit the space station, then how the planet comes to life the very second you get spotted, and the creepy as fuck abandoned ship. I actually got chills, even though I know what's going to happen. That's the power of it. It's still probably the most famous game for speedrunning. Like, how much faster a truly talented player can get through is far more fascinating than most other games. And if you know me, you know that the master part of my username comes from me being master of sequence breaking.
Derp derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp derp derp.
This actually goes on for about 10 minutes. I'm not even kidding. I am so sorry. Of course, I couldn't forget the Donkey Kong Country series, the only platformers that legitimately gave Mario a run for his money on the Super Nintendo. The animal buddies that had a completely new way to go through a level, trying to find every possible secret in each world, and who could forget the lovable Kong family, Cranky, Funky, and... Candy. Hi, I'm Candy Kong, and this is my save point. Candy, I've been to Roll 34. I have seen your save points. And quite frankly, my dear, I was not impressed. But then the question came, which one of them to choose? The first one that pushed the SNES to its limits and revamped an ancient Nintendo face? The sequel that took everything that was good and fun with the original and multiplied it? Or the last one that added the exploration of the overworld and the side quests with the Brothers Bear? The answer? All of them. Yeah, I don't have the heart to pick among these fine alternatives. You might be saying, that's fucking cheating putting 3 games on one spot. Well, it's my list. I can do whatever the hell I want. I could make the next number about Ron Jeremy's pubic hair. Don't fucking think I won't do it. Super Mario World. Oh, the memories I have of this one. I was about 9 or so when I first played this with my cousin and my jaw dropped to the goddamn floor. It was love at first sight, and that love has just gotten stronger over the years for many reasons, like the introduction and quick demise of Yoshi.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run.
The personality that oozes from this game always gives me a smile. My all-time favorite thing as a kid was seeing the different ways Mario would destroy the castles.
Ouch! Motherfucker, you been a dick!
Mario World has one of the best controls that I've had the pleasure of playing in a 2D platformer. And I might go as far as to say that again, it's my favorite of the series. But god damn is this game weird. I mean, why does the King of Koopas have a disco ball in his castle who kidnaps a woman that's the princess to a bunch of penis-headed mushroom people who get saved by Italian plumbers in the land of dinosaurs? I don't know where I was going with this analogy, just play the clip. Play it. And now, the honorable mentions. Street Fighter II.
You win.
Chrono Trigger. Killer Instinct. Star Fox. Mortal Kombat 3. F-Zero. Yoshi's Island. Mario RPG. Final Fantasy IV. And Super Punch-Out.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Mega Man X. Didn't even need to think twice for this one. If I was to make a top 10 favorite games of all time, this would be right up there. Mega Man along with Mario is one of those franchises that I have been playing longer than I can remember. There are only 2 things I don't like about this game. That the dash is something you need to get, and how some of the robot masters are almost impossible without it. Other than that, I got nothing bad to say about this. Everything else just clicks into place. Just the simple concept of jumping and shooting is such a polished diamond that it would make anybody blind with its beauty. To me, nothing else on this magnificent system generates so much love. This is one of the only games I legitimately try to do speedruns of. My goal would be getting to within the top 20 best runs, which, yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. Interesting how this would end up creating its own sub-series of Mega Man games. Which 3 of them are good, 2 of them are okay, and the last 2, how should I put this? If you gave me the choice of playing through them again, or punching an orphan puppy in the face, I'd say hand over the doggo. I have issues, but let's not get into those too much. For now, I'm just gonna enjoy the original masterpiece.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
I'm Isle, and Capcom, I am begging you, don't fuck this up. Don't do what Inafune did. Don't make us cry like anime fans on prom night. Why did anybody think that was a good idea?